Welcome to the Charlotte Chatter Podcast with your hosts, Carrie Cliff and Mitch Benish. Now here are your hosts, Carrie and Mitch.
Well, they're made in arena dirt, in the blood, sweat, and the hurt, in the million-mile drives, in the years of sacrifice. Just living for 10 rounds.
All righty, season 3, episode 24. And this is the big day after Mitch's birthday. So we had several people comment, question, and or message on what your age was. And I saw all the way from, I don't think there was anything under 55, but there, I think, what was the range, 55 to 68? How many people guessing?
Your very cute sister got it exactly right.
Did she?
Yeah.
What was it, 56? No.
Remember, you're half a century older than I am.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So, a happy day late to Mr. Mitch, who turned 46. Let me tell you what, when you hit 50, I am going to fly to Nebraska, and we're going to have a shindig.
I'll tell that bar that we were at last night to watch out for you.
Yeah. Well,
with all 10 people in the town.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and tell the listeners what happened to you last night while you're at the bar?
Yeah. So I don't know if you texted me. I think you texted me and said, "What are you doing? You out celebrating or something like that?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We're at the bar." And he said, "Which one?" And I said, "I ain't telling you." And I nudged my wife, Andrea. I said, "Just wait." I said, "You're going to get a text right now." Boom, right away. "Where are you guys at?" And she doesn't, I don't know if she didn't hear me or she thought it was funny to gang up on me with you. But
yeah,
she immediately tells you where we're at. And then not more than 20 seconds later, there's a picture of the front of the bar. "You're at this one?" And Andrea's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "What does he want to know that for? He's not in Nebraska." And I said, "No." I said, "You wait and see." I said, "The phone's going to ring." And the waitress walked by. I said, "Get close to the phone." I said, "Here, it's going to ring." And about 30 seconds later, the phone rings, and here's Carrie. So he's trying to order me a shot on the bar phone, but they don't take credit cards there. So in Carrie fashion, he proceeds to just say, "Well, get him a shot anyways and put it on their tab."
Happy birthday. I owe you. I guess I owe you a shot.
She's like, "Do you really want a shot?" I said, "I said, we're going to take one." And then I said, "We're going to video it. And then I'm going to caption it. 'Hey, thanks for buying our steak and our beer last night,' and send it to him. See if he gets nerved up about getting a bill in the mail from the bar." But
well, happy birthday. And for everybody, that guessed 50, 55, 58, 60, all those numbers, you were really close, but he is 46.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. But with us today, we've got some special guests all the way from Oklahoma, the Fox Hollow Farms people, and Steve Malott and his manager and the one and only. And he's not from the Dallas Cowboys. So just, let's get that straight right from the get-go. But it is Randy White, the original Randy White, and Clifford Mitchell, the consultant with no hair. But and he is a closet UW fan, aren't you, Clifford? But we have a lot of fun with football stuff. So we will be diving into their sale specifics. That's coming up November 2nd, 2024. But before we get there, we got to give out some shout out to some listeners. I had the chance and opportunity to be at the Nile Stock Show in Billings, Montana last week, and had several people come up and say, "Hey, I like this episode," and yada, yada, yada. So a shout out to Ian Madden from Wyoming and Paul Hill family. The whole family got to meet all the little sons, the Downey family from Montana. But I got to tell you, I think she's 13 years old. Cash Krabs I think she's from Nebraska, right, Mitch?
yes, yep, yeah. Western Nebraska.
She happened to be pinned right across from us with the Thomas Ranch, Jada Ledoux, but she is an absolute hoot. And if you ever get the chance to talk to this young lady, she's a character and an avid listener. So shout out to all those listeners that said, "Thank you, I like this episode," yada, yada, yada. And and we had one particular. I think Paul had mentioned the episode we had with Lee Eaton just recently, and I got to tell a little backstory on the Lee Eaton. As you know, he's what is he, 78 years old, I believe. So when I first asked him, or we asked him to be on the podcast, he's like, "Oh, heck yeah, let's do it." Well, his daughter proceeded to call me and said, "He doesn't even know how to turn his phone on. How does he think he's going to be on the podcast? How does this work?" So the backstory is hilarious. And so several phone calls and the messages, and we got hooked up. And so apparently she had little cue cards that was ready there if he couldn't answer a question, and which he didn't have a problem with. I mean, when I started rattling, sires we were talking about sires, he just rattled off numbers, but apparently Lee got to a point where he mentioned something about some Charolais cattle that sucked somewhere. I can't remember what it was. And the daughter, she says, at that point, I threw the cue cards in the air and I said, "I'm done. I'm out of here. You're on your own." So
the filter came off.
Oh, yep, it was all. But there is the story that was on our last episode or one before, I can't remember. But the backstory is just what was worth it. And there was a picture of him with a cat behind him. Well, Lee hates cats, so he had no idea. So she took a picture of him with the cat behind him.
Sent it to us. It's like I could see that cat because she. At one point, she must have been holding the phone and then gave it back to him, maybe to take that picture or something. But at one point, she was like zooming in on the cat as we were recording. I was like, "No, man, I know there's something to this." It was kind of hilarious.
It was so much fun. People ask, why we do this, and I mean, we have a huge amount of history. We have a recorded history now forever, and it was just fun to talk about the Lee Eaton family and just the backstory. I wanted to share that because it was so much fun on the front side and back side of that recording. And then he forgot to plug in his phone, so it stopped about 3/4 of the way through. I'm like, well, okay, well, I guess we're done now. And we just thought Lee hung up on us. He was like, "I'm done." But anyway, another fun story in Montana. I got to tell you, I went to a Lowe's in Billings, Montana, to get a extension cord. And so, when you walk into a Lowe's, you're just kind of like, they're all kind of different on the layout somewhat. And I walked in there and I'm like looking around, trying to figure out, okay, where would the extension cords be? So I was standing there. This gentleman came up to me, and he was had a Vietnam vet hat on. He was an employee of Lowe's, and he goes, "Can I help you find something?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm looking for the extension cords." And he pointed, he goes, "Well, go down that aisle, go over to aisle 27, right on the end. It'll be your extension cords." And I said, "Well, thank you." I shook his hand and I said, "Thank you for your service." I guess what the moral story was, there is nice people out there still, but he didn't have to stop and ask me, to help me. He didn't work there. He had no intentions. He just wanted to be a nice fellow and ask. I mean, I was pretty like, that stuff doesn't happen in Washington. Hey, we don't have
I was going to say, you weren't back home in the old blue state there.
So shout out to the people in Montana for being polite. And, I thought it was pretty cool. So,
well, he probably took one look at you and felt sorry for you, man.
Well, he did. I went in there. I was covered in cow shit because I just got done washing, and you know how that goes. So. But anyway, it was a fun trip to the Nile. Had a fun time. The cattle did well, and I think we had entered a heifer in the club calf heifer and steer sale, and we ended up in a class, and she went on to get reserve, and I think it irritated some of the club calf people. So anyway, it was worth it, but it was a fun trip. So with that, let's dive into the sale with the Fox Hollow Farms production, or volume 5 production sale at the ranch in Holbert, Oklahoma. Did I pronounce that right? Hopefully.
Yeah, you did, Holbert. And,
all right.
We've been here for a long time.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, Steve, why don't you give us a little bit of history on how this thing started? We all have the bad disease of loving Charolais cattle. So,
Sure.
and give us a little background how it started way back when, and then how did that Mr. Randy White get
Yeah.
involved with you too.
You bet. Yeah. So last was a couple episodes ago, you had Ethan Prop on here, right? Locust Grove ag teacher, and funny the connection there. My family bought the land. I was a kid, and I have two older sisters, a younger sister. Parents bought the place, and my older sister was in FFA at Locust Grove, and we had the land. We didn't have any cattle, and my dad, Don Malott, he tasked my oldest sister, since she was in FFA, hey, go search out and figure out what breed we need to get into and what would be the best for our family and for the economics of the time and the way that the cattle breeds were trending. And so she came back, and Charolais was number one on her list. And so they decided that they were just going to jump in. Back then, it was still, exotic, right? So there weren't Charolais shows, at least at the county level. They were the exotic breeds, so we did real good in the county shows because we were the only ones that showed it really in the exotics. And but that's how we got started in the Charolais breed. Was an ag teacher at Locust Grove was helping out one of his students, and so then that just developed. We started going around, and my parents, they were progressive in their thinking and in the genetic side. AI was relatively new. ET was brand new, and they went out and selected some of the premier genetics of the time. It was a different situation then because to fund the operations, we needed to sell cattle, right? So we were having to breed show cattle, get out there, market them, and make them perform, and then with the hopes of selling one or two so you can come back home and pay the bills. And so we grew up, my two older sisters, myself and my younger sister were all in the AIJCA. My oldest sister, she was selected Miss Charolais USA. We had show heifer of the year one year, and raised an ROE sire. That was back when we were breeding giants, And, Randy calls them the Smithsonian breed cattle. That's the only good place for them is in the Smithsonian. So, but the breed was changing then. Whenever I was, getting into it, and I was older, and so we made a transition, and that's when I guess really right before that, that's when we got to meet Randy and know him. He was at a ranch in South Carolina, Bermitkin Farms, and they were making a change, and we wanted to grow, so we grew by acquisition and bought that herd, and brought Randy and his family with it. And boy, he was a great influence on my life whenever I was younger.
So would say.
My mother wouldn't say that.
I'm sure, Randy, you have some good stories, and you feel free to share all those. So there's only 35,000 plus listeners, so we're good.
Yeah, getting caught at junior nationals or something, But but that's where we met him. He'd just come off. I need to brag on Randy for a minute. I mean, he was the Charolais Herdsman of the Year. He was the Angus. He's been the Angus Herdsman of the Year and the Brangus Herdsman of the Year.
Brangus.
So that's the trifecta right there. I was joking with him earlier. I said whenever he leaves, he needs to go find a Hereford operation and go ahead and just go 4 for 4.
Randy, I have the perfect Hereford operation for you to go to. So I just
not going to happen.
No, it's gonna be this will have some what would it call music connections. So the lead singer to Alabama, Randy Owens in Alabama, Fort Payne, Alabama, has Hereford. So
I know him.
Yeah, so
been there. I've helped there.
Yeah, we're gonna go to it in next May. His sale, the Dixieland Delight sale. So
really?
my cousin just moved next to him, and we're gonna go there and have dinner with Randy, hopefully. So yep. So anyway, continue, Steve. The small world.
Yeah. So we did it. We've been in the cattle business then, since the late 70s, early 80s, and dwindled down to virtually nothing for a time. And then I got married in early 2000s, and my wife and I wanted to get back into it. We had some semen and some embryos, and just started back up where we left off. And I hadn't seen Clifford, since I was a kid. And
that's smart.
I did well with that one.
You dodged the bullet. Good job, Steve.
I was looking at a catalog and saw his name as a consultant, and I think it was Galen Fink's sale, wasn't it, Cliff?
It was, yes.
Yeah. So I called him up out of the blue one night, and I said I was looking for some cows, and so then Cliff started helping out, consulting, and just talking about the different bloodlines that I wanted to utilize. I got a great break. I called up a guy at a big Charolais operation that was switching over from Charolais to Angus, and or abandoning Charolais, I guess. And they had a bunch of good embryos in the tank still, great carcass genetics. And so I was able to get a hold of a lot of them that really set the basis then for this, the carcass-based, sound, functional cattle that we're trying to raise and raising now.
Yeah.
So then now over the last 15 years or so, we've been building our herd back and really being more selective and critical of the type of cattle that we have here and the product that we put out. We've of course, you can see in our catalog, we'll get to it. We've used a lot of Silver Gun genetics lately. We've got a lot of M6 base and Ledger base bluegrass pedigrees that we're using. Yep. And we found a lot of success in crossing all those, the big ranches, their stuff up and trying to make something of our own out of it. So
right.
That's kind of our backstory. Like I said, we've been around for a while and really love the Charolais breed, the Charolais cattle, and the people. I mean, you go to a show and meet somebody new, and you end up being best friends for life. So great community.
It is, all the good people we've met in Denver, huh? Clifford and Mitch, right? So maybe this is how we all met. I mean, it is. So it's kind of ironic. Yeah. But Randy, what have you seen the breed change in the years that you've been involved with it? I mean, you talked about the Skyjacker cattle back in the 80s or whatever, but that's an obvious change. But what do you see in the trends, or what have you seen?
We go back to when Clifford and Stevie would have been children. So you know how long ago that's been.
I think he's on Clifford 58, I believe now, isn't he? So.
But, his liver is.
78. Yeah.
I mean, they've changed dramatically, but back then we were going for frame, and of course that's been 40 years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And total frame, all the breeds were, and we all went through it, and they, it's changed to where they're a little bit more conventional now. Still big cattle, but more conventional. And I hated the numbers to begin with, but as time's gone on, they've changed to where the cattle kind of fit them a little bit now, and that's, I guess, the direction we're trying to go, is try to run some numbers and still have some cattle that are quality cattle and a little more conventional. We don't need them quite as big as they once were. And I'll be the first one to say that. Of course, some of the Charolais are a big breed, and they've still got to continue that. But they've still got to have some quality and durability. And I mean, we're in the middle of a drought right now, and begging for some grass, some cattle that need to do well on grass. They can't.
Yep. You need to be able to perform. Yeah.
Got to find something profitability wise somehow. And, so I think that's the biggest change.
What are you seeing, in your opinion, on the show cattle world in today's world versus production commercial cattle?
Well, I was in the Angus deal until I came here for And I thought they were getting them too small, and you know, they want a lot of guts in them, which I think they need them, but it was getting to where they were just a little bit. So I you know, I think the frame thing is something we need to do, as long as there's some quality, some muscle, and of course there's no shortage of muscle in the Charolais cattle, and you know.
Yeah.
But they're all, I mean, it's better. Like I said, with the, you know, the numbers have gotten closer over the years, which I hate to admit it because I was probably the biggest attractor in the world. But something we got to be considerate of, you know, the numbers now
Right.
more than ever.
Right.
You
Right.
guys know that.
Yeah. The buyers are looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you got to deal with it. And I think there's some merit to them now, where in the early days there wasn't any merit whatsoever. They was just being fine.
well, they just
and,
they reformulated it. Is that would be the correct term, Mitch? Actually, Hadley Shoddy was at the Nile, and he gave me a little screenshot of the old configuration of TSI versus the new one. So kind of we were going through and studying it, but supposedly it's the approved or improved improved set of numbers, but kind of interesting. But I think that'll be a podcast in its own. So let's we'll hold that for a later topic. But
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of that conversation.
yeah.
I kind of don't either.
We're going to let you two experts, you know, be that
Well,
conversation. But what Stephen failed to, I mean, and we're going to talk about cattle after this, but what Stephen failed to mention, one of the best stories about the Malott family and the Malott operation, you know, and this is how far it goes back, you know, and I mean, I can remember Stephen when he was sitting on the show box with his show stick, and he was about 8 years old, and I was probably about 14 or 15, you know, but their first cow was Penny's Pride. Their first big cow was Penny's Pride. And down at Sid Duncan's place, they ran 2 recips into the ring. And my dad got to bid, and he said, well, I'll just take this pregnant recip right here. And Don, Stephen's dad, stood up and he said, I'll take the other one. Well, Don in Fox Hollow got Penny's Pride, and she was a great show heifer and was a great donor cow. We probably got the turd in the bucket that went that went down the road, you know. But I mean, that's just how far it goes back, and that's the connection. But I mean, we are very, very proud of this set of cattle that we're going to put in front of the public to bid on and appraise. You know, Randy's done a phenomenal job, you know, of getting these cattle right and getting them presented right. And, you know, the bulls are ready to go walk, you know, they're ready to do their job. And we've worked real hard building the genetic base to maintain the type of quality of the cattle that we would like. I mean, you know, lot 1, undoubtedly best bull in the sale, you know. He did come up a PA carrier, but he's the best bull there. So he's the best bull there, you know.
Oh, he's got a lot of M6 blood in there. So, I mean, being out of bells and whistles and then out of a new standard daughter. So obviously M6 sold out. What is it, 4 or 5 years now, probably?
2017, Kerry.
Wow. Was it really that long ago?
Yes, sir. Yes,
wow.
sir. I think I bought Bells and Whistles Full Brother for you like in 2015, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Isn't it?
I mean,
Time flies.
And lot two bulls from the same family. The lot 2 bulls from the same family, and you know, he is just a powerhouse.
Yeah, and he's a silver gun. So let's back up 1 second just so people know the schedule event. So Friday, November 1 in the afternoon, the cattle will be available to view at the ranch, correct? And then the sale is Saturday, November 2nd at 1 p.m. Oklahoma time, live there or on Superior Auction. So
if you get there Thursday, I'll take you to show you the cattle as well on Thursday.
Okay.
So I mean that's just kind of our system. But I mean, those are two of the really better bulls that are in the offering. I mean, they're definite purebred herd sire candidates. Lot 3 and 4 are a little different in their kind and type. They're just a little more Cavanese oriented, a little more maternal oriented. I mean, 5 and 6 are both beast. I mean, so they're just.
Let's go back to lot 3 is original son of Blue Value. So a lot of times you don't see those originals. That's on the 2nd or 3rd generation nowadays. So original son of Blue Value.
Oh, well, we've been known to reach back into the back of the tank, Kerry, and kind of pull out one that may not be right at the headline today, but we know they're good, sound, functional, multiple trait cattle.
Yeah,
and, that's the goal. Like I said, lot 5 and 6 are beast. Whether in a purebred or a commercial situation, they're gonna sire the right kind. The 5 goes back to the Charlotte cow family that's made a lot of money for David Skeens. The 6 goes back to our Sterling Dam of Distinction, that goes back to an Allstate daughter, and a little bit about a little bit about Allstate, Kerry.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. Allstate is really starting to pop up in pedigrees. That 2nd or 3rd generation back, you start looking at, I think Ethan Prop had one, wasn't it, Mitch, a couple weeks ago that went back to Allstate. And so kind of interesting how he's jumping into pedigrees now.
And you see that maternal influence, especially from his side of the deal, but then after that, we've got some composites, we've got some really good bulls,
Let's touch on lot 10. Original son of M6 grid maker out of a Wyoming Wind daughter. So BJ Hansen, if you're listening, here's your boy.
Yeah. And you can thank me for that because I bought the cow, or actually raised the cow, bought the embryos. And that was some of those genetics I was telling you about. I was able to snatch a hold of from that other operation.
Oh, okay.
And so that one was in the tank for a while.
Wow.
Cliff gets mad at me. He'll complain whenever I start throwing some stuff around, but I love it, man. I love to reach back there and you're talking to Jed Wagey a couple not too long ago, an episode ago, and talking about some hybrid vigor heterosis that can occur between different genetic lines, and I was hoping that lot 10 was going to be a good female because I wanted to breed her to Silver Gun or something else. Turned out to be a pretty all right bull. So
right.
I mean, look at the old genetics in that thing. I mean, old, but these things are still. I mean, you still see them in a lot of pedigrees.
If you ever saw Verna in real life, or you ever saw X140 in real life, X140 sold for $30,000 3 times in her life. Verna was probably the most attractive, maybe the most attractive Charolais female I ever saw, even though she'd probably be too big for today's standards. But she just, good's good, and that's the way it is. But I mean, but all the problems been taken out. Again, you look at the EPDs, some are more balanced than others, some lean heavy on the growth, but that's kind of how it came out. Searching for something to breed our Silver Guns to, we reached back into the tank and got bells and whistles, and boy, he sure worked on the guns. And I mean, lot 17 and lot 18, they are both own sons of the two picks. We'll get to them in a minute, but 101A and 101B that are the picks of the herd, and they're both pretty exciting critters,
They are. I want to jump back, Mitch, if you don't mind. I would look at lot 5 and lot 8. Those two are they're different genetics to a degree, but they're just dang good bulls. Lot 5, he's a county line son that's PA free. We do know that. And his dam on the dam side, she goes back to some of that older stuff, and you can see in his picture. I mean, boy, he's a complete bull. He's probably one of the. Cliff said lot 1's probably the best bull here, but lot 5 is probably one of the most liked bulls here, just from the total package that he brings. And being a little bit older, he got some age on him. He is stout, he's square, he's wide, and I like it because of the county line on the top side. We've had a lot of great success and got some really good county line daughters out of some of those M6 lines, and that's been a real good cross that's I think it's kind of flown under the radar even here to a degree.
I think you see county line is really, and I think we had Winks on here a while ago, Mitch, didn't we? And you get a lot of them bulls that they're cranking out or out of county line daughters or granddaughters. So that's a very, very good predictable genetic package there.
Yeah. And then back down on that lot 8 bull, good. The 709 cow again goes back to some of the 3 Trees genetics stuff that I bought a long time ago, and that 709 cow, she's got 2 sisters that are here, 708 and 712, and those 3 sisters are just, they've been phenomenal. Some of the best grid maker daughters I've seen, and so this is kind of neat because we reached back and she's, I think, we could almost breed her to about anything and she'd throw a good calf. And so I wanted to put up, again, more variation in our herd. And this is one of those deals where I was hoping for a female. Ended up being a boy. And but we AI'd her to Iron Man, and that's a bull that came out of Eggleston. It's probably back in like 2010 or so, I think. Eric Dennis and Lance Sublette had they'd gone and found him, and I was able to buy in on him. And big bull, great bull at the time. He was what Silver Gun is to the EPDs, but so lot 8, he's a powerful bull. He's got great EPDs and a little bit of outcross there now, maybe for some. If you're looking for something on the sire side that will probably wouldn't be close to anything they got in their herd, and then out of a just phenomenal grid maker daughter.
Yeah, and he's got a negative 1 birth weight and 13.6 cavities, so looks like he'd be
right. And look at his performance. 934 weaning, 1344 yearling.
Yeah, really good. And these first ones we talked about, they're 18-month-old bulls, and so they're raring to go. This is about the time to say, turn me out, turn me loose, and let's get the job done, right? So I think if we get into some yearling bulls in the lot 16 through 21, Mitch, if you want to flip to that, let's talk a little about those guys into some of the yearlings coming up. So lot 16's 16, 17, 18 are all bells and whistles. So Clifford, what's the claim to fame of these boys?
No, they're just good, solid, sound, multiple trait beef bulls, that do everything right. They're not gonna, hurt you. Like I said, 17 and 18 are out of 101A and 101B that are the pick of the herd. Lot 16's a full brother to Whistleblower, which Double RD's herd sire. We also own half of that bull, and FH has used him. When you get into these Silver Guns, lot 19's got a little scur, but I mean, if he didn't He may be the most powerful bull in the sale. Really good calf. You flip the page to the next page, 22, 27 in there. We get into the gun shows. That's a new sire group, and, that's a bull we bred, sold to Rolling Hill Charlet in Kentucky, brought him back to use him to walk with, and then, AI'd to him a little bit too, just because, we bred the bull. We're very proud of him, and he has done a good job.
Yeah.
And then, we've got some Patriots, we've got some Bright Sides that are both, new bulls to the program, and we sure like that. Some County Line sons, or grandsons, and, again, if they weren't, sound functional cattle with a little bit of multiple trait, we would not, they wouldn't have made it this far,
Yep.
And so, I mean, that's a lot of good bulls, that can help a lot of good commercial cattlemen. And then there's several, in there, depending on what you like, that could darn sure help a lot of these purebred, herds, and give them something a little different. Because I know that, this is probably the largest offering of silver gun genetics that you're going to see, in a lot of places, because we have used him heavily, and we've talked about the bulls and their extra performance and how that they do, and their soundness and their multiple trait. But I mean, you really want to get into the nuts and bolts of Silver Gun, you need to look at his daughters, because they do everything right. I mean,
Yep.
They're butters, they breed back, everything else. And, at this point in time, since we've kind of gone through the bulls, I'd like to talk about 101A and 101B.
Yeah.
And
Let's get to, let's get into that. So we just kind of covered there is how many bulls total offering. So we have 62.
bulls.
So yearlings and 18-month-old bulls, they're raring
Yes.
to go. I mean, there's DeBrucker Tank Sons and Big Ben Sons. There's TR Mr. Outsider Sons, Silver Gun Sons, Bells and Whistles Sons, Original Gridmaker Son, Gun Show Son. So there's a good choice, but
And then there's some composites in there, and those
Yep.
composites have a lot of added value in my mind.
Yep.
But, for a commercial operation. But I tell you what, and I know it's been said 100 times, maybe 1,000 times, maybe 1,000,000 times, but you would drive the wheels off a lot of vehicles to find two as good as lot 101A and 101B. And quite frankly, like it states in the footnote, when Stephen looked at me and said that there's your pick, after he asked me what the pick was, and I said, I haven't decided. He said, there's your pick, because they both stood up right side by side one day in the pasture when we were looking at them. I seriously about fell out the Polaris. I mean, it was that shocking, because they're that good, but they're what Fox Hollow has been striving to breed, and been striving to, get that type where you could build on, because they have the numbers, they have the look, they have the functionality, and basically, they talk about these athletes being the face of the franchise. These two females are the face of Fox Hollow, the face of the operation. I mean,
and they're still young. They're only 2021 models. They both have bull calves on the side by Brightside.
Yep.
And for everybody, go on to Fox Hollow Farms website and or Facebook and look on page 21. a pic of these fall pairs, lot 101A and 101B. These girls are beautiful. I mean, these are, and we'll have this on YouTube also, but just check these out. There's not a single thing wrong with them. They're ready to do what you need to do.
Well, I want to, you'd asked Randy you earlier on, about the difference between and the pasture and in the show ring, right?
Yep.
And I think right here is a great, for me and for what we're doing here at FH, this is a great example of what can be both. I mean, you got that 101A. She has just brood cow, massive cow written all over her.
Yep.
And then you look at B, and just I think one of the most eye-appealing, attractive packages that I've seen, certainly in a silver gun daughter, but in most cows. I mean, she's just a beautiful cow to look at. One of my favorites, has been my favorite since she was born, and that's, I think, part of the biggest reason Cliff was surprised whenever I said, let's let her be one of the picks, because I've always liked that heifer, and she's just continuing to prove herself and grow into herself and gets better every day. I mean, we took these pictures, of course, before they calved this summer, and the udder quality on both of them is tremendous. I mean, the feet are great, great structured, easy doing, just fun cattle to have because they don't make you do anything, and they look great whenever you go out in the pasture.
Yes. So if Mitch bought the winning bidder, if he doubled down, can he buy both?
No.
Nope. Okay.
Well, that was quick. That was really quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone else bought them. Or you're not just hating on me now, like Kerry does, right?
No, I mean,
I guess if somebody give $50K for one of them, then wanted to double down for the other one, then it'd probably be negotiable.
I don't know, man.
These are options you got to think about. It's just
definitely two elite females. And I was talking to Joe Garcia the other day. He bought the full brother, 2 lot 101A, and apparently, after they did some of the stuff and all that, he was good before that. But apparently, he's the number one TSI and marbling bull in the breed right now. Now I don't know how to search that technical, so I have to rely on Joe to do it. But
can you fact check that, guys? I mean,
I was gonna say I'm on this.
Well, first step there, Clifford, is the power button is on the bottom right. So they've turned on the computer. So. Gotta talk a little slower when you're talking to Clifford, but it's all good. So. But there is a very good couple lots there on lot 101. I mean, that is a huge offering with 101 A and B. So,
and the other thing is the cow family's on the bottom side. I mean, the cow on the bottom side of lot 101A. She's 12 years old, got a calf on her right now, and she don't seem to be missing beat. The other one's 11 years old, got a calf on her right now. She doesn't seem to be missing too much of a beat.
Yep.
The old 540 cow at M6 probably made just as much money as any of the cows down there. Just she had pulled her stifle, so not many people got to see her. You had to have a special pass to go.
She's the damn comfort zone too, isn't that right?
She's damn a comfort zone. She's the damn a sleep easy. She's the damn of there's another one she's the damn of. And we all know about the Elviras. They're legendary in the business.
Okay, so I did do a little fact checking on you, Clifford, here. I'm gonna remove the catalog so we can see my phone a little bigger. But has anyone ever seen that before? Look how much green there is on that bull, that full brother.
Holy
That's
shit!
a zebra. Yeah, I've never
Hey,
seen that before.
We did that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, holy shit. That's a holy. I've never seen that before.
Well,
Look at
tell
that.
me the secret, Steve. I mean, how did you hit all greens? I mean, this is.
I'm going to the casino with you.
Yeah. Let's go to
Well,
Vegas.
Randy was telling me just now. He was talking to Joe the other day, and he said he's the only bull in the breeds in the top 20% of all trades.
Yeah.
Every trade.
Like every trade, he's in the top 20 or top 50.
I can verify that. That's real time. That's exactly today's EPDs.
Well,
20% is his lowest, and that's weaning.
Which bull is that? So everybody, so just in case somebody missed it, which bull?
That's
That's
the
the
full
full
brother.
to lot 101A,
his name is FH Virginia City 2132.
and that's
Virginia
him pictured
City.
there in the catalog.
Okay, got it. Yep.
And
Perfect.
the boss, we had intense discussions. The boss was the one that chose Silver Gun to use. I chose County Line, and I think the boss, both of them have done us well, but I think the boss done a little bit better than I did. So
What?
No
True.
way.
It's true.
I wanna highlight the 102 cow. She's got lot 102. I mean, she's out of Solutions mother, another gun daughter. She has a heifer calf by Puncher that's pretty darn salty, and
So,
most of Super Puncher
Yeah.
was our national champion bull. I saw Super Puncher right after he won Fort Worth, and I told
Sure.
Stephen that if you get the opportunity, buy part of that bull, and because he's going to be national champion, and just luck. I got lucky.
No, you knew who was judging at Louisville, so you and Jeremy have a little sideline. I know.
No.
I got to see
We're
her in
gonna give you-
Billings, Montana last week, so I know how it goes, Clifford. So,
Let me give you a little backstory on this cow and what happened with her. I bought the pick of Dahl's heifers in the national sale a couple years ago in Denver.
Well, Carrie did the bidding for us.
Yeah, exactly. And
okay.
you remember that?
Now I do. Now, okay, it's all ringing a bell. I was wondering why your name was in my phone. It's all making sense now. So.
It does, yeah.
Okay. Sorry,
So,
I'm a little slow on two.
Yeah, so we took the pick and loved her so much we ended up with two. And so
Yeah.
we had two full sisters, and they were both silver guns out of that. Those are T388 cow, and they've both done great here. And so as we were reaching in, looking and say, hey, what can we offer? Well, I got two full sibs here, and they're both doing great. I think I might have picked the wrong one to put in a sale because the calf she's got at her side he's pretty awesome, or the heifer calf is pretty awesome. And great cow, loved her. She's done great here in Oklahoma, and just a great addition from the Dahl ranch.
So did you go to their ranch and pick them, or how did you do that?
No, so David, he was great. I knew what I wanted from a genetic piece. I wanted one of these females, and I wanted to cross them with County Line to make some outcross genetics for us.
Yes.
And we've talked about these matings that I've had that have been bulls that I wanted females. Well, now on this stuff, I wanted bulls and I got females. So it went the wrong way. But that I knew what I wanted from the outset, and so Dave he took videos of I think there were 4 or 5 full sibs that they had out of that flush, and sent me the videos of them. And I picked the first one, liked her so much, got the second one.
Oh, that's cool.
And not to mention it was -19 and snowing in North Dakota. It didn't really work at all.
Well, that I think we talked a couple episodes with Lee, with Lee Eaton, and I bought some heifers from him. I'm like, okay, do I want to go up into northern? Because I bought them like in January or February or something like that. Do I want to go up to northeastern Montana that time of year and go through, I don't even know, 1,500 No, you pick them out. Here's what I want. Not that I wouldn't enjoy the trip and be able to see all the genetics, but boy, that would be hard and mind-boggling. But I think you need to talk about the lot 103 and 105 because if Kevin Moore from M6 made the decision to get back into the breed, which I doubt he is, but I think this would be he would like a couple of new standard daughters, wouldn't you?
Well, funny story. Hold on, real quick on that lot 103, that fabulous 160 cow. That's the grand dam to the 103.
Yes.
Lance Sublette had his dispersal, and Kevin bought the 160 and the 160 cow as weaned heifer calves in that dispersal.
They were still on the cow.
Okay, all right. So you know it better than me. But anyway, that just goes to show you what you said. If Kevin was still in it, he absolutely would because he has done it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yep. Just had a little pizzazz in there, but
nice. And I mean, they are FH New Standards, and New Standard has done an excellent job, like he's done in a lot of places, and they're both, great producers, both model cows, and puncher, bright sides, new genetics brought to the framework of Fox Hollow to try to, spice up the deal, and use, those bulls on some cows that already had an EPD base built in, so we could kind of keep our EPD base and not lose our performance. And so far, neither one of the bulls has disappointed us.
Yep. Well, I think I hardly ever agree with you just because I like to give you a razz of shit. But there is something about the super puncher because I've seen some calves that I think Braden House has braiding one around. That's pretty cool. And then a couple others. So they're and I did buy a semen lot in one of the Charlie Junior National things that I do need to still get that. But anyway, it's if I was to flush to something, I think I might do that to him because I think there's some good things that he could produce. So you look at this, there's a lot of calves here that you put them on some M6 blood and everything else. I think you got some good opportunities, especially the service sire of lot 113 and 114 is super puncher. So out of a 113, I have a bells and whistles daughter and got some ledger blood in the 114. So, and then, I mean, there's just some good old solid genetics across this fall pair group. So,
really good solid genetics, really good solid cows. I mean, you're not gonna go wrong about whichever direction you take on those first calf heifer pairs. They're all good uddered. They've all got bright sides or out of our free lunch bull, and I mean, most of them are silver guns. So you're really not going to go wrong there. And, when you look at it again, I mean, the common denominator in all these cattle that you look at, the common denominator is they go back to sound female families that add value to their offspring.
Yep.
And, I don't know, there are a lot of people that are looking for the next bull, and I'm always looking for the next bull, but we have to have that sound female base before you can worry about which herd sire you're trying, to use to enhance, what we got going on. And that's basically what Stephen and Randy want to share with people is, our identification of these females that can, sustain themselves in a lot of different environments. And, coming off, Bermuda pasture, may take them a little bit if they go to fescue, but most other environments, they're going to be just fine. And so far, I haven't had a problem sending them to fescue, but
well, we shipped some cattle last year. I mean, and I didn't want to touch on this. We shipped some cattle up to Canada last year in our sale. We had that was our first Canadian bull buyer, I think, and he bought a pair also. So we part of the sale. I mean, so we started out with those two just bang up females to pick from on the female side, and it didn't drop off. As you go through there are solid cows, great calves. And that's one regret I have is that with the timing of our sale and the way we've got to do things, we're calving after pictures, and we don't have a chance to really get the calves pictured and in here. But I hope people will come and give us a chance and look at some of these calves that are on side of these cows, because just like you said, the super punchers and some of these other bulls that we've used, there's some powerful stuff there that can go a lot of different ways. There's some calves out there that you will see in the show ring, next year, and some bulls bull calves that are that should be staying and come in my sale, headliners in the sale next year. But I think we offer delivery, and if a person's going to buy multiple lots, we'll get them delivered to adjoining states. We'll help participate on some shipping when it comes to exporting to Canada or whatever we need to do there. So we want to be as helpful. I got a phone call from a guy today. He was requesting a catalog. He'd been referred by another breeder that I know, and he's got I think he said he's got 4 Charolais cows right now. He's waiting on a trailer that he had bought, a few more head from another guy, and so he's just been in the Angus breed, but starting in the Charolais side and ready to look for a herd bull for these cows. And I remember how it was when my wife and I got back in the breed, and just like I said earlier, the community, being able to call somebody and talk to them about whatever genetics or how certain cattle were doing, and so we want to be a resource and helpful to other people too. Yep. So not just sell a lot of bulls or 1 or 2 great bulls, but I want to contribute to other people's success and build the relationships, because we're here. We've been here 40 years. We're hopefully my girls, they're getting showing, and Lily won the county show a couple year ago, and
right on.
They'll keep going for another 30 or 40 years. But we got a great. I think for us, it's one of the best offerings we put together, especially on the female side. I don't think you go wrong with any of them.
Oh yeah.
Even on some of those reds, I don't know if you could see that lot. Was it 124?
124. Yep, she's a red one.
She is a pretty phenomenal composite, and she could go a lot of different ways. For
her and 125 it looks like. So
yeah,
they're both reds. Yeah. So this is just as a reminder, as Mitch is pulling that up. It is November 2nd at 1 p.m. at the ranch in Holbert, Oklahoma. Where is your nearest? If somebody wanted to fly in, where's your nearest airport?
Tulsa.
Living on Tulsa time.
That's right.
What does that actually mean, Mitch? You know what? I mean, it's Don Williams' awesome song, one of my favorite songs. Living on Tulsa time. Is it a little slower in Tulsa, or is that a slang?
I do. I've been there several times, and I do love the city. It's actually one of my favorite places to go, but there is a few that may be a little slower there. Yes. Neither here nor there.
You blend right in, don't you, Mitch?
No, actually, no, I don't.
Damn Yankee.
So flying to Tulsa, and then how far of a drive is it from Tulsa to your ranch location?
We're 1 hour east of Tulsa.
1 hour east of Tulsa, so easy to get to. On November 2nd, I don't think there's going to be snow in the forecast for November 2nd, so should be able to get in and out of the airport. Yeah, we can use some moisture here too. Let me tell you.
Any moisture.
Yeah, the drought is getting a bit much, but that's a pretty good wrap on the sale. Superior Livestock Auctions. It will be on there live, so bid there, bid often, and bid fast because they don't screw around with the Superior boys. So you get on it and bid as fast as you can. If you have any questions, give Steve or Clifford a call. So with Clifford, and Randy, yep, even better. Yep, Randy, and because if you call Clifford, you got to talk a little slower because I'm just kidding, Clifford. It's all good. We can say this. We're friends. It's all good. And the Cowboys suck this year. I know. So I figured you were to dive right into that.
I wasn't going to bring that up, man. That's Randy's team too. So
I knew I liked you, Randy. Yep.
Oh,
yeah. How about them Cowboys?
I just owned them.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's there's been several playoff. Well, last year in Denver, or this year in January, the playoff game was going on, and I finally had to drive a friend of mine to the airport and get away from people as it went 21-0 real quick. I'm like, I got to get away from people. So this is, and I get back, Mitch is partying in the tent and like, how's the game going? I'm like, shut up, don't talk to me, don't look at me, and do not pass go.
Well, you used to have to buy all the drinks in the Hill Bar, when we'd watch playoff games, way back when.
That is the last time I was in there. Well, gentlemen.
That's when your wife come and took the bank card, and we was out of luck.
She
where's that? You got that mute button, Carrie? When
the end of these things, that's when all the good stories come out.
Okay.
It is fun. But again, going back to what you said before, Steve, the friendships that you make within this breed is amazing. So that's, we spent vacation time last week at the Nile. It's just to see friends, and it isn't just to compete, but it's the friends that you make our lifetime in the agriculture industry. So I really appreciate that, and good luck to you guys on your sale. Again, go to Fox Hollow Farms Facebook website. I don't know. Do you have Instagram or TikTok yet?
Well, man, I think I've got one post on Instagram and no followers. So
it ain't working real good.
Okay. Well, we'll go on there. This will be out, and listen and join. If you have any questions on further, some of these lots, just contact all these gentlemen, and they'll be able to handle all your needs. So, with that, let's have a good rest of the week. And Mitch, I'm glad you survived into your 46. Happy birthday, Mitch.
Happy birthday, Mitch.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, some raise them up, and some raise the roof, and some give their lives protecting me and you. And